Hello traders, welcome back to the another episode of the Traders Cap. So as usual, we're gonna go weekly market breakdown for the pairs like pound dollar, euro dollar, gold, and from this week I'm gonna add Aussie dollar as well, because those are the four pairs I actively trade during the live. So I think it can be interesting to cover Aussie dollar as well. So I think many of you guys also trade Aussie dollar. So let's start with the pound dollar. We go from the weekly time frame and then we'll see daily, 4 hour, 1 hour, and how we can capitalize on the intraday moves during the whole week, right? So if we look on the pound dollar for the weekly time frame, what do we got? We have swept this enough buy sell liquidities. It's not really coming from any relevant supplies, right? It's very all mitigated, so there is not much supplies left over there. So this pullback may be short-lived, and since we have this high probability supply above, which is this one, we may get that deeper pullback at least from there. So I'm not expecting from here to get like this kind of move. It can happen 100% because this is a very high external range liquidity that has led to this convincing move to the downside. So that may happen as well, but just focusing on the recent price action at the minute, what do we got? We have this low that has broke structure, and we have been building this kind of liquidities just above this POI. I like the fact that we have this range mitigation but has not even touched this pivot demand. So coming from the last week or so, what we got, we have been generating this kind of liquidities, and even from the last week we got this liquidities built up again. So now we have been generating tons of liquidities just above this POI, which make this POI more high probability, because what we see, we got a nice push up and we have been generating these tons of liquidities just above. Then yeah, we may see that get swept into this demand, and then we may see another push up. But if we start to see that on the daily and the 4 hour and the 1 hour, that if we start to see strong shift like that from the bearish, then yeah, we may assume that we are gonna get a deeper pullback of this whole leg, and yeah, maybe after that we can see that pro trend run. But until then, this is very key for me. I want to see how it reacts. Yeah, if it starts to push up like that, then on the 4 hour, on the daily, then yeah, I'll change my buys and I'll put more emphasis on the buys to run the week highs. So yeah, that's the weekly. If we go now on the daily time frame, what do we got? Last week we swept this kind of strong low because that low has achieved something, has led to the breakup structure. I was hoping the price may want to come here, but it didn't. And after we led to that breakup structure of the week break, we were pretty much impulsive. If you see the price action, impulsive, correction, impulse, kind of like corrective price action, but it was really impulse. And now we pulled back into this demand, supply, pretty much correctively. And after we mitigated the supply, we have been showing that bearish strongly reacting from the supply. It feels like it wants to run this low at least for now. So currently that demand was in control, and yesterday that demand has fell at all, and now the order flow is pretty much bearish. So now we have the supply is in control. Simple expectation will be probably we may get a deeper pullback up to here, and then maybe we see another push down, and then maybe we may be ready to run the week highs. But until then, I'm just focusing on the sells to run the week lows, nothing else. Now if we go on the 4 hour time frame, what do we got? Like I said, this was the daily demand that was in control. We failed this demand yesterday. That means now we have been pretty much bearish. It's a very strong move. So now we have tons of liquidities below. So this is not how the low forms. Like I said previously in the videos as well, like whenever the low or high forms, like the bottom or the top, it often forms like a strong sweep. For example, here, if you see this one, it swept liquidities, and then now we see that strong sharp push down, right? For example, here as well, after we sweep the buy sell side liquidity, what do we got? We got this strong push up. So that's how the top and bottom forms. But here, in this case, it was very, very low probability kind of price action. It was not the best. It was very corrective. So yeah, we can understand that we have lots of trend on liquidities over there. and now we are coming off this kind of demand. We may see some kind of bullish pressure, probably up to this range, which is the daily supply as well. So yeah, the simple expectation is that probably we may see that a little bit of bullish pressure. It's going to be very corrective, I guess. And then after we see that strong shift, then yeah, I'm quite favoring sales, like at least to run the week close, and then probably we'll expect a pullback to the for the bulls. For at the moment, simple expectation, just thinking from the intraday perspective, I'm expecting to take this week low, nothing else. And let's go over the 1 hour time frame. What do we got on the 1 hour time frame? Yeah, it's pretty much bearish, right? It's very strong momentum. I want to continue looking for sells, and I don't want to wait for I don't want to be aggressive on the buy. So what do I really want to see for the sells is I want to see a nice corrective pullback, then I want to see strong V-shaped shift, and then I will play from the POI that sub liquidity, a fresh supply, and ideally we have this week low with lots of liquidities to target, and even better, we have this tons of liquidities from the 4 hour time frame as well. That's visible, right? Yeah, so for sells, I really want to see the shift, and for longs, what I want to see is a well-developed bullish range, giving us that probably now we may get a pullback for this whole leg, so that we can play up to the EQ. Because if we play here buys here, then yeah, we have tons of enough room to play up to the premium. But if we don't get that proper IBOS giving that strong low, then yeah, I won't be aggressive on the buys, because it's heavily bearish and the momentum is quite strong. This momentum often lasts, and once we see that kind of deceleration pattern, then we can assume that probably we may get a deeper pullback for this swing range. Okay, so let's go back to euro dollar now. So this is the weekly on the euro dollar. Like I said from the last week, what do we got? We got the supply mitigations that has swap liquidity. So this supply has its objective is to just to provide the reactions into current demand, and we expect this high to go. So for example, what do we got here? We got this demand, right, that led to the breakup structure, and this was in control. We got a reaction from the supply. It's pretty corrective, and after we mitigated this demand, now we are starting to see this push up. So simple expectation from the weekly time frame is to run the week highs, nothing else. It's pretty simple. As the order flow is very bullish, there is no signs of bearish, there is no signs of weakness, then yeah, I'm fully expecting this high to go. For sales, ideally we want to see that order flow shift like that, then maybe we can assume that probably we're going to get a deeper pullback. In this case, it's not happening. The way it candle closed from the last week, it's really strong, and I want to see that go at least for now. If we go on the daily time frame now, what do we got? Yeah, so on the daily time frame, like I said, we reacted into this weekly demand, and now after we pulled back pretty correctively into this daily demand, we are expecting we are seeing that kind of impulsive move by the bulls. So simple expectation is like just to run the week highs, and the fact that we have been generating liquidities so that it can feel the move to the upside is really interesting. That's why we are seeing that kind of intraday pressure, bearish pressure, because we often need liquidities to fuel the move to the upside. What I mean is, like for example, here we got this breakup structure, we pull back here, and it often does not go like that. It often creates liquidities. For example, here it a little bit chop around, and now when we have that kind of liquidities to target, that's often we see that impulsive move to the upside. So that's what has been happening here. So we have been pretty much generating liquidities so that we can move to the upside. So fully expecting buys and playing buys. I don't want to be aggressive on the sells because we're not really coming from anything at all. For sales can be interesting after we sweep this kind of external range liquidity, but until then, just focusing on the buys, nothing else. So if we look on the 4 hour time frame, what do we got? See, this POI has led to the breakup structure, has swept liquidity, had inducement just above. So yesterday, what I was expecting that not that yesterday but the last week, I was expecting this demand to make a higher highs. Since this demand has not swept liquidity, it didn't had any inducement, it fell. And the fact that we have been coming from this after this sweep of liquidity with kind of momentum, I was expecting this low to get at least. so that into this demand. Now this is very key. So after the breakup structure, we never had a deeper pullback, right? I mean, there is no any relevant daily supply of the 4-hour supply that is unmitigated, so that it can provide the reaction for deeper pullback at least. That's why now we have been using this kind of liquidities so that we can get at least a pullback, because reactions we get either from the supply demand or the liquidity being swept, nothing else. So we had this demand. So now this is very key for me, because we have been coming from the sweep of liquidity. Pretty much this supply is in control at the moment, right? So now we are fighting between supply and demand. So we have been coming from this demand, we have been coming from the supply. So this is gonna be very, very key price action for me to see what happens coming week, right? Because if we start to see that bearish trends from the 1 hour, then yeah, maybe we can expect that bearish are coming. If we start to see that bulls, then yeah, fine, we will run the week highs eventually, and the weekly and the daily week high as well. So that's what I'm thinking on the 4-hour time frame. If we go on the 1-hour time frame, what do we got? Same, we have been sitting between supply and demand, right? This is the 4-hour demand, this is the 4-hour supply, and the 1-hour supply as well. So yeah, pretty much we are in this supply, and we are coming with V-shaped move. We have been coming from the V-shaped move on the bears as well. So it's a little bit 50-50. I don't have a crystal clear where the price is going to go yet. So coming into the session, all I want to see is like convincing break of the structure from there, clearing the supplies, a nice corrective pullback, then bang, I'm just going to go from there. So nothing else. So this is going to be the key for me. If this fails like that, then fine, I'll play sells. If we start to see that push up, then fine, I'll play buy. Yeah, buy is going to be the high probability if we get the shift. If we go on the Aussie dollar now, we go from the weekly and then we go up to the 1-hour time frame. This is the weekly. It's not that clean as pound dollar, yen, euro dollar, because it's all weekly price action and we don't have that relevant supplies. This has been mitigated so many times, but we can see that we have been sweeping these liquidities, and now we are currently sitting in this kind of highs and lows. So for me, that's going to be the daily swing range. Maybe we get a deeper pullback after we mitigate this kind of range, probably up to here. Then yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what happens in this weekly supply, but for now I'm quite favoring buys, nothing else. If we go on the daily time frame, like I said, we were sitting in this weekly demand that is the daily range, which is this one, right? This is the strong that has led to the breakup structure. It's not the convincing breakup structure, but that's how Aussie dollar is moving nowadays, right? Whenever we get the breakup structure, we immediately retrace. Whenever we break the high, we immediately retrace. Whenever we break the high, we immediately retrace. So what does it say? After we get the breakup structure, we can expect a pullback. So from this kind of breakup structure, and after we see that kind of hammer candle 2 weeks ago, we can really capitalize on the sells if we get proper development on the 1-hour time frame. So that's what I was forecasting for the last week as well. Now, where this pullback gonna be up to, it's gonna be up to this demand, which is in the discount that has led to the breakup structure. It has swept liquidity. It is coming from the supply demand chain. It's really key. So yeah, coming into the week or so, I'm expecting to play the buys from there if we get the proper development from the 1 hour and the 1 hour, so that we can run the week highs. If we start to see that shift like that, then fine, we can assume that probably we may get a deeper pullback into this prior range. But until then, until this demand, whenever this demand is holding, I'm not expecting to play the sells at all. Don't want to be aggressive, right? So like I said, this was the 4-hour swing strong as well. That has led to the break of structure, and now we internally switched bearish. Internal switched bearish just to facilitate the pullback for the daily swing range. And once the objective is completed, we may see that bullish structure shift, and then we can run the week highs, because we are playing sells just a temporary pullback so that the higher low can forms. Yeah, so where this will pullback come into, yeah, we have this unmitigated range over there. We may come back into here as well, so that it can sweep this kind of liquidity, so it can be interesting. But for now, pretty much playing sells can be valid. If we get a proper development, then fine, we can play the buys. While the internal is bearish, we can't assume that it's gonna go like that, because since we are not coming from any relevant demand from the high time frames as well, this pullback may be just up to this internal range, which is this one, and then we may see another push down. right? Okay, so we go on the 1 hour time frame now. What do we got? We got this 1 hour break of structure. Like I said, any longs from here can be just a pullback into this range, and then we'll push down because we know this daily demand is below, right? That is why. So currently, clearly supply is in control. I'm not expecting to play buys until and unless we don't shoot that kind of shift, so that we will have tons of enough room to play into the premium. For now, this supply is in control. Just give me a second. Yeah, currently this supply is in control, right? And I don't expect this to fail until it does not. So simple expectation for the sales will be a nice pullback into here, or a strong shift of that's formed through sweep of liquidity, and then we can run the lows. For buys, I want to see at least a nice flip with POI form to sweep. Then yeah, fine, I'll play the buys, and yeah, we'll change our bias once we see the shift on the 1 hour time frame. That's the Aussie dollar. It's pretty much simple. Let's go on the gold now. What do we got on the gold from the weekly time frame? As I have been saying, not the best price action. It's pretty consolidation. After we got the demand mitigations, our expectation was to run the week highs, but we have been generating tons of liquidities above, and we do have some kind of liquidities above, below as well. It's not the ideal condition, so this is when we can take a lot of losses trading aggressively in the 4 hour and the 1 hour time frame, right? Because whenever we don't have the clear directional bias from the weekly and from the daily, because whenever you see this this piece of price action, do you know who is in control? I don't have any clear, because whenever we got this demand mitigations, our expectation was to run the week highs, right? Yeah, we had this demand, but this demand has been mitigated so many times, and it does not make sense now to push the price higher as well, because it's not clear. It can do, price can do whatever it wants, but the way order flow works, it does not have the clear price action. It doesn't have that unmitigated demand at all. So we may see some kind of, like price action being choppy. That's what happened here on the weekly time frame. I don't know if we got another price action that's similar like that. All right. Don't think we have anything like that. Even here, if you see this price action, it's pretty much range. We had this demand in control. It kind of failed, and supply was in control, right? Supply held, and this demand was in control. Demand held. Sweep liquidity. It's very, very messy, right? So it's not similar like the one we are facing at the moment, but the order flow from the weekly time frame is definitely not clear. That's when you can take a little bit steps aside and then just wait for the high probability setup and good POIs to form. And from the daily perspective, yeah, after we got the pullback, simple expectation was to run the week highs. I was expecting that we may run the week highs from there, but it did not, and we just swept this liquidity, pushed down, giving this internal breakup structure. Now with this being the internal breakup structure, we are playing within this range, and after we got the internal breakup structure, we know this low is weak. So since we are playing within just that range, we got a nice corrective pullback into this supply over there, and now we are currently sitting in this demand. I don't have it clear on the daily time frame, so I'm not going to be aggressive on the lower time frames either. So this is going to be key for me. Let's see if we can get a nice shift from there. Then maybe we can assume that this low is going to go, and eventually this low is going to go. But since the price action is not the best, supply and demand both are in control. They are still fighting. They don't know where the price is going to go yet. So I'm just currently sit and just wait for the clear intention to show up. So if we start to see that push up, then fine, I'll take buys so that we can run this kind of liquidities. If we start to see that strong shift from the bears, then fine, I'll play the sells to run the week low at least. That's the 4 hour. If I go on the 1 hour, it may be too much because it's not clear. So simple expectation from the 1 hour time frame is that let's see if we can get a nice corrective pullback here with this strong shift. Then I'm just gonna follow that recent order flow. If we start to see that strong shift with nice corrective pullback, then fine, I'll play the buys. No need to force things. Let's see what happens. I want to see that clear structure on the 4 hour time frame first, because I don't want to force anything on the 1 hour yet. Yeah, this is going to be the interesting area for the 4 hour, because we got this 4 hour swing strong that has led to the breakup structure. got a nice corrective pullback. It's not nice corrective pullback, to be honest. It's pretty much impulsive, right? Impulsive move with nice reaction from the bulls over there, and then we got this impulse move from the bears. That means now currently the supply is in control. We don't have any unmitigated demand over there. Yes, we have this demand over there, but it's slightly mitigated. We may see that push, but the way we have been pushing down with that impulsive nature of price action, I'm expecting this to go at least. But if we start to see that shift, like I talked earlier on the 1 hour time frame, then fine, I'll play the buys. But I will be very, very conservative and buys and sells both, because the price action overall is not that clean. So yeah, that's how I'm saying the gold. Euro dollar looks really clean, right? And the pound dollar also looks really clean. I really want to see that high taken out before we see that deeper pullback on the euro dollar. Can be interesting to see. So yeah, thank you so much guys for watching. I hope you guys will have a good weekend and a good week ahead. Thank you.